Hello and thanks for watching this video of Palo Alto video training series. In this video we're going to talk about quality of service and policy-based forwarding. Quality of service is obviously an important feature of any network. You could prioritize your traffic based on your business requirement. You could give some specific traffic more priority than the others, and the firewall router or whatever your networking device is, they could basically decide to send that traffic before they send other traffic or vice versa. We're not going to talk in details about quality of service because it's a big concept by itself, but we're going to talk only how to set up QoS and also PBF on Palo Alto Firewalls. So let's get started. Here we log into our firewall with our username and password. Go to Policies tab, and we have our security policies created. We have our network address translation created. So basically, on our internal network, we do have internet access. So imagine that you want to provide different access to internal people, but you want to prioritize traffic, and you want to say, as an example, HTTP and HTTPS traffic are they have more priority than BitTorrent traffic, and the way that you could do that is with QoS. So how we do it? Basically, there is a QoS section on your Palo Alto Firewall. So you see by default there is nothing there, so you could just click on add and create a new rule. Just give it a name. We call it QoS HTTP. Say again source. If you want to specify any source address, for example, you want to give some specific IP address or specific user a different priority than others, you can do that too. I just want to leave it as any for now. Destination, again, outside. So again, you have the capability of defining a destination address as well. So you can say that I want to prioritize accessing to Microsoft services or Google services or whatever. Applications, you could specify any application. I don't want to do anything with application right now. Just go to the services. I want to specify HTTP and HTTPS as my services. Just add DNS to it as well. So these are my services. So if you want to define any specific coding to tag your traffic in here as well, so you have the capability of doing that. So you could just define different tags, QoS tags. You need to know about QoS to be able to do these tagging and stuff. But there are different priorities for different tags. I could even define custom codes and stuff as well. We just leave it as any, but there are a lot of internet resources about QoS and QoS tagging and how they work. A simple website, I did a quick search. This is a simple website, just gives you like all the different tags and things like that. So EF or expedited forwarding has more priority than a short forwarding has more priority than class selector and things like that. So you could play around with these QoS tagging a bit if you want to. As I said, we leave it like that. We go to other settings and we have different classes in there. So class 1 to 8. So we just leave these as class 1. So you could schedule it as well if you want to during a specific time. So you want, for example, to have this role only activated during the business hour. If you want to, for our particular test, we just leave it as it is. So class 1 has more priority than class 2, than class 3, and so on. So we just create this. So now we have our first QoS rule, and it says HTTP, HTTPS, and DNS. They are in class 1. They have the most priority. So we create the second one as an example. We just call it QoS torrent, and again our source is going to be inside, our destination is going to be outside, and now we with applications we just select BitTorrent and again torrent sync as an example. So you could have different applications in there. Just leave the services and tagging as it is, and we just leave this in class 8. So just with doing that, and we're going to commit the change that we've done. Just with doing that, basically you have created a simple QoS tag which gives your HTTP and HTTPS and DNS traffic more priority than your BitTorrent traffic, which is an important thing for every single organization. Having said that, usually the best way and the best design for QoS is to do the QoS on the edge. So you should start with doing the QoS tagging and QoS controls on the edge of your network, close to the workstations, close to your phones, and keep it on the switch level, and then the router level, firewall level, and so on. This will only work on the firewall level, but as I said, the best practice is always to keep the QoS as much close as possible to the source of the traffic. And it has to be all across the network as well. So doesn't mean that you keep it on firewall only or keep it on switch only. You have to keep it across your network. Next thing I wanted to cover on this video is policy-based forwarding. Policy-based forwardings are quite helpful when you want to route different traffic to different destinations on different providers. Just give you a quick example on when it could be useful. This is just a simple diagram of having two service providers connected to your network. So you use service provider 1, service provider 2 for internet access, and they both connected to your firewall. So you might have some traffic that you want to specifically route through service provider 1. You might have some traffic you want to specifically route through service provider 2. With basic routing protocol, is a bit difficult to do so. There is a concept of policy-based forwarding on Palo Alto Firewalls that you could go and say, this type of traffic on my network, I want to route it to this gateway. That type of traffic, I want to route it to the other gateway. I remember where I used to work, we had a very high volume file transfer kind of service. And we wanted that to always go through a different link, because if someone started to download or upload a file, because that service was really strong, it could affect the rest of the users from getting internet access and things like that. So there are different business scenarios, so you could decide how to do it. Again, policy-based forwarding is pretty simple. So you just click on policy-based forwarding on the policies tab and click on add to create a new rule. We just create a sample one, sample PBF, because we don't really have that kind of scenario that we want to route traffic to different sources. We can't really test it here, but I can show you how it works. So we say, for example, if the traffic is from inside and the traffic is from specific user, so you could even narrow it down to a user. So you could say, if it is my user on inside network trying to access, again, let's say BitTorrent, right? Sorry, some applications might not be available here. But let's say try to access Symantec. Or if you want to, you could say HTTP or HTTPS, or create a specific service on a specific port number, TCP, UDP, whatever you want to do, that's fine. For destination IP address, you could specify destination IP address, or you could say any, whatever. So if it's coming inside from this user, or specify an IP address, I'm going to Symantec System Center, forward this traffic to, you could say, instead of our outbound interface, send it to tunnel interface. If you have a tunnel interface, if you have a VPN, this is another example of how it could be useful. You could say, if there is any specific traffic, and you have a VPN, site-to-site VPN set up, you could specify the source and destination for that specific tunnel. Say, if the traffic is like this, rather than sending it to the outside interface, send it to the tunnel interface. Or if you have Ethernet 1/3 here, which will be another service provider, you could specify Ethernet 1/3 and say, my next hop is going to be the other one. Or even on the same interface, if going back to design, even on the same interface, if I have a switch here and I have like two service providers with two IP addresses in the same range, I could still use the same interface on Palo Alto Firewall, but say my default IP address or default gateway is 192.168.137.1. I might have another one which is 192.168.137.2, and I could just use the same interface and say 137.2. So if the traffic looks like this, send it to the second interface rather than the first interface. So as you can see, you have a lot of flexibilities with policy-based forwarding rules. You could specify what IP address, what username, what traffic to be sent to what IP address, and what destination specifically. So that's another fancy feature which is available for you if you want to use it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll be with you on the next video. Thanks.